What's up, YouTube? Zachary Michaels here. I'm an actor, and this is An Actor Reacts. Today we'll be talking about Black is King, the masterpiece by Beyoncé Giselle Knowles Carter. Let's discuss. Before we get started, if you're new to my channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Black is King was released July 31st, 2020, exclusively on Disney+. It's a musical film and visual album directed, written, and executive produced by Beyoncé. The film serves as a visual companion to the 2019 album The Lion King: The Gift, a tie-in album curated by Beyoncé for the 2019 remake of The Lion King. Okay, so I'm so excited to talk about this film. I even wore my Black Lives Matter shirt for the occasion. And shout out to my friend Aamira who made this shirt. I'll put her info on the screen and below in the info box, just in case anyone sees this video and is interested in supporting her and buying a shirt. Okay, anyway, so let's get into the good, the bad, and see what I rated this film. Okay, the good. This film just has so much good. For starters, 2, maybe 3 minutes into this film, I was crying. And you don't know me, but that is a big deal for me. I don't cry too much. I'm actually a very emotional person. I take things personally. I'm sensitive. I feel all my feelings. Like, I'm in touch with my emotions, all that stuff. But I'm somebody who internalizes that all. I feel it inside, but I don't really do an outwardly display of that, so it's rare that I'll actually be crying. But like 2-3 minutes into this film, I was so overcome with emotion that I started crying. And I don't know if that was because that opening song or because like just seeing the blackness, or maybe I had some other frustrations and this was just good probably a combination of it all. But the fact that I was crying 2 minutes in just says how good of a film this is. It truly is a masterpiece. I loved the blackness that was on display in this film, like unapologetically black, and that's just so good to see, especially right now with everything that's going on in America, specifically with the Black Lives Matter movement and George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Elijah McClain, like so many others. Like, it was just good to see beautiful black faces of all shades being shown so like exquisitely and regal and royal. It was good for my spirit, man. And like, with everything going on, I've been recently reflecting on my life, and I'm pretty young, but I've been like realizing things that I had locked away or ignored or kind of just accepted as normal from others that I don't want to accept anymore. And even things in my own personal life, like me, things that like anti-black things that I had in my mind that I didn't even realize, and like calling myself out on that, and just loving blackness. And I love that this film highlights that. It could not have come out at a better time. And I love that this is being broadcasted so widely because representation is so important. Like, little black boys and girls are going to be able to see this and see how beautiful they are. And when I was young, I really don't think I realized how important representation is, or at least I didn't intellectualize it. Like, but growing up, all my favorite characters on shows were black. Like, it wasn't, I didn't have, like, I couldn't tell you a reason why. It was just like, because that's the best character. But looking back now, it's like, because they were black and you're black, and that showed you. And obviously we all want to see people who look like us or who behave like us, like, doing great things. And it really doesn't even have to be great things. You just want to be seen. You want to see someone who looks like you just being, at the end of the day, to know that you're not alone and know that you're important. And I feel like this Black is King really showcases that. And I loved it. so much. Another good in this film is the music. Now, I had not heard the Lion King, the Gift album, because I had no interest in seeing that live action Lion King. It was just looked weird to me with like real life lions speaking. It was just strange to me. So I had no interest in seeing that. So I didn't like listen to the companion album. And I'm so angry at myself that I didn't, because this music is so good. It's like literally every song is so good. Like no song is out of place. Like every single song works perfectly, especially within the film, and it's just all so good. And like Beyonce did her thing, and we all know Beyonce can sing. We know she makes great music, but she's really using her voice so well on this album. And like, you know, Beyonce in recent years has been like rapping a little bit more, and she does like she still sings in some songs, but she doesn't really. She's not doing those big vocal moments all the time, but they're really showcased on this album, along with some other fun songs too. But like the vocals are so good, and yes, Beyonce did her thing, but I also want to real quick shout out all the featured artists too, because literally everybody did their thing. Now, I'm probably going to mispronounce some of these names, so I apologize in advance, but I want to at least try to give y'all props. Okay, this featured Techno, Lord Africana, Mr. Easy, Yemi Alade, Burna Boy, Kendrick Lamar, Jay-Z, Childish Gambino, Salatiel, Pharrell, St. John, Wizkid, Tiwa Savage, Shatta Wale, Major Lazer, Nija, Busiwa, Yemi Alade, Tierra Whack, Moonchild Sanley, DJ Lag, 070 Shake, Jesse Reyes, and Mellow X. Now, again, I'm sure I mispronounced some of those names, but all y'all did y'all thing, along with Beyonce, of course. Hey, sorry for interrupting, but real quick, I realized while editing, I forgot to mention Blue Ivy as one of the featured artists, so I wanted to make sure I give her shout out as well. She did a good job, and her little singing on Brown Skin Girl actually had me a little emotional. And then I also forgot to mention the choreography and the dancers in this film. Another great element. Let's get back to the review. Um, I'm trying to think of my favorites because I've been listening to this album nonstop since I watched the film. But the ones that really popped out to me were Bigger. Like that was the opening song. And like I said, I started crying 2 minutes in because I was taking notes and eating dinner and watching, and like every line in that song, the first couple, I was like, "Ooh, gotta write that down. Gotta speak on that line. Ooh, gotta write that down." And like, "Ooh, that's true. That's true." And then I was just like, I had to stop taking notes, stop eating, and just like look at the screen because I was like, "Damn, this song is good." Like that song, like I said, I cried. It had me in my feelings. Like we're part of something way bigger. They tried not to show us that, but we are. It's so good. And Beyonce's voice on that song, oh girl, like her voice, that song, so good. Another song that I really liked, Mood Forever with Jay-Z and Childish Gambino. That was my jam. I've been listening to that a bunch. I've been listening to the whole album, but like these are songs that are popping out to me. That song was just fun. And then there's the Power, like my power, my power. Like that one's so good. Like literally, I could literally just read off the entire track list because every song is so good. And again, all the featured artists did so good. And I love the visual part of Mood Forever. That was just like such a fun moment, and I'm really upset at myself for not listening to this album earlier. But I am kind of glad that I didn't listen to it prior because I got to experience the music and the visuals at the same time for the first time, and it was like I was engulfed in this. Like, and that leads me into kind of my next good in this film, the visuals. Like, the music was great, but then the visuals that it was paired with were so good. Like, the cinematography, just like the settings that they were in, like all the places that they were showing were just so big and grand and beautiful. And I liked when it would go from like HD to like kind of the old film kind of fuzzy style and back and forth. um the outfits were great. I Beyonce looked amazing. Like, are you kidding me? Again, like, it's Beyonce. We know she's beautiful, but like, she just looked so good. Okay, what else on the visuals? Oh, kind of black to the blackness. I love seeing all these black faces in HD, so crisp and beautiful. Like, I love seeing all the like little cameos. Like, Kelly was in there, and Lupita, and Naomi Campbell, and her mom, and her daughter, and the kid. Like, and literally, I'm like, I'm like losing my breath and train of thought because there's so much that was just so exquisite in this film. Like, it's so good. Um, the colors, the colors were popping, and it was, oh gosh, I love this film. What else? What else I got? Oh, I like the story. Like, the story that was told. Like, obviously, it's just The Lion King, but The Lion King's a good story, and I liked how it was told throughout. And uh, Beyonce's voice is very soothing. Like, her speaking voice is kind of monotone, like in a good way. That it's just like kind of soothing, and bars every time she spoke. I was like, yes, say that. Just so many good moments throughout the storytelling. Oh, and I loved the little boy who was like the little Simba. He was one of my favorite parts too. He was so enjoyable. Like, Mood Forever. I love when he was like rapping Jay-Z's part. That little boy's got a lot of charisma. I don't know who he is. I'll look it up and I'll put his name at the bottom of the screen. But I thought he was great. Oh, a question that I have. Who was the blue man? The man who was like kind of in the painted blue face. I've seen that kind of image before, so I'm pretty sure it's some kind of African heritage, but I don't know what that is, and I want to know because he was throughout, and he was kind of spooky is the wrong word, but it's the only word that's coming to mind now. But he was there throughout, and he good dancer, that guy. But he was there throughout, and he gave me such a spirit kind of thing. So I would love to know. So if you're watching this and you know who that is or who that represents, please tell me because I want to learn. Like, he was like really an interesting part to me throughout. And uh yeah, I oh, and another question: why was it only dedicated to Sir? I'm guessing because it was like about the story of Simba and he's her son. But it had me feeling bad for Blue and Rumi. I'm sure she has her reasons, but just curious, just a thought. I want to make sure I touched on every moment before I move on. Like, oh, the story. Like, I just, again, the blackness. I love seeing black people as royals, and because that is our history, and it was just nice to see them so regal and like kings and queens. And this movie is just so good. It came together so well, so well. Like, chef's kiss. Um, But I think that's all my good. Now, let's get into my bad. Okay, so the bad. Honestly, I have no bad in this film. As you might have guessed, I loved it. Let's move on to my rating. Okay, now this was probably the easiest rating that I've ever had to do. I give this film a easy 10 out of 10. Like, for all the reasons that I've already said, like the blackness that was on display, the representation, the music, the story, all the artists, the visuals, like the cinematography, everything in this. Honestly, as soon as I started crying, again, 2-3 minutes in, I knew that it was a 10 out of 10. Like, this just filled me up and gave me everything I needed. And one last thing that I want to say. Beyoncé is a creative genius. Like, and I know we all know that Beyonce's great, that Beyonce's so talented. But my Virgo sister, like, sometimes you just need a reminder of people's greatness, and this film and album was that. Like, and honestly, I'm kind of calling myself out on this too. Because, don't get me wrong, I'm far from a Beyonce hater. I'm definitely a fan, and I know how great she is, but sometimes you kind of overlook, and sometimes you, like, also for me, like, it gets into a weird territory when it feels like someone's being worshipped by others. Because at the end of the day, we're all human. So it just gets in a weird territory for me with that. But when you see a piece of art like this, how can you not? You know, how can you not, like, you got it, ma. Like, you gotta bow down because too good. And yeah, she has help. Everybody has help. But this is her baby. This is her brainchild. This came out of her. And she should be commended for that. Give her her flowers. Like, so good. Like, Beyonce is an icon, and she will be remembered for decades to come. Like, Beyonce's name will go down in history. Okay, I think that's all I got on Black is King. I loved it. If you haven't seen it, please go see it. If you have seen it, go watch again. Listen to that album. If you're black, love your blackness. If you're white, love our blackness. If you're any love yourself. Like, people, love yourselves. That's really what it comes down to. We all need to love ourselves. And sometimes that's easier said than done, but love yourself, please. But seriously, I think that's all I got on Black is King. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Thanks for stopping by. See y'all next time.